For the best experience, please use headphones or listen in a quiet environment. Breaking free from the ego, Alan Watts' profound truths about the illusion of self. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever truly stopped and asked yourself, who am I? And I'm not talking about your name, your job title, or the roles you play in life. I'm asking about that deep core essence of you. Who is the I that says, I am? Today, we're diving into one of the most profound topics of human existence, the illusion of the self, inspired by the wisdom of the great Alan Watts. Let's start here. What if I told you that the person you think you are, the I that narrates your story, that voice in your head, is an illusion? An illusion so deeply ingrained that it shapes your decisions, your fears, your dreams, and even your sense of worth. What if breaking free from this illusion could be the key to a life of unparalleled freedom, joy, and peace? Stick with me to the end, because today we're going to peel back the layers of the ego, expose the truth of what you are, and empower you with actionable steps to dissolve the boundaries holding you back from your infinite potential. Are you ready? Let's go. The illusion of I. Alan Watts once said, "You are under no obligation to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago." Think about that for a moment. We're constantly trying to solidify this idea of who we are, holding on tightly to labels, identities, and beliefs. But what if the very act of holding on is the root of our suffering? Let me ask you, when you say I, who is speaking? Is it the body, the mind, your memories? What you'll find is that the sense of self, this ego, is not a singular entity but a story crafted by your mind. The I is nothing more than a thought. Isn't that incredible? The thing we defend, stress over, and build our lives around is just a construct. Another powerful quote from Watts is, "Trying to define yourself is like trying to bite your own teeth." This highlights the futility of capturing your true essence through labels or identities. When you attempt to define you create a boundary. But life itself is limitless. The moment you stop trying to confine yourself is when you truly start to live. Socrates, one of the greatest philosophers of all time, famously said, "Know thyself." But here's the catch. To truly know yourself, you must first unlearn everything you think you know about you. What if the path to self-discovery isn't about adding more, but about letting go? The ego trap. Here's the kicker. The ego loves to trick you into believing it's real. It says, I am my achievements, I am my failures, I am my fears, I am my past. But can you see how limiting that is? By identifying with these transient things, you shrink your infinite potential into a tiny box. Alan Watts beautifully explained that the ego is like a wave believing it's separate from the ocean. But no wave exists apart from the ocean, just as no person exists apart from the universe. You're not a disconnected fragment of life, you are life itself. Think about this. You don't look out there for God, something in the sky. You look in you. What Watts is emphasizing here is that the divine, the universal truth, is not outside of you. It's within. The ego searches for validation outside, but true freedom and peace are found within. Moreover, consider this. The ego's greatest fear is its own dissolution. It clings to titles, possessions, and accolades because it's terrified of losing its sense of identity. But what if letting go is the ultimate liberation? What if surrendering the illusion of control actually gives you the freedom to truly live? President Theodore Roosevelt once said, "Comparison is the thief of joy." Isn't that what the ego does constantly? It compares, competes, and judges. Imagine how much joy you could reclaim if you stopped comparing yourself to others and started embracing your true essence. Action item number 1, question your assumptions. Right now, I want you to pause and think about one belief you've held about yourself. Maybe it's, "I'm not good enough," or "I'm too old to change." Ask yourself, is this belief absolutely true? Who would you be without it? By questioning these assumptions, you start to chip away at the illusion of the ego. Take it a step further. Write down 3 beliefs about yourself that you've never questioned. Examine each one. Where did it come from? Was it imposed by society, family, or past experiences? Often you'll find that the beliefs you hold most dearly aren't even your own. The power of presence. Let me share another quote with you. This is the real secret of life, to be completely engaged with what you are doing in the here and now. And instead of calling it work, realize it is play. Alan Watts. How often do we miss the present moment because we're caught up in the story of I? The ego thrives in the past and the future, but cannot survive in the now. Why? Because in the present, there is no I to cling to. There is only awareness. Ralph Waldo Emerson echoed this sentiment when he said, "What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us." This reinforces the idea that the present is where true power resides. The ego distracts us with regrets and anxieties, but our true self exists only in the now. Steve Jobs, the visionary behind Apple, once remarked, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life." This is a powerful reminder to shed the ego's need for approval and live authentically in the present. Action item 2. Practice mindful awareness. Here's a simple exercise for you. For the next 24 hours, notice whenever your mind drifts into stories about I. For example, I need to succeed, or I shouldn't have done that. Instead of getting caught in the narrative, take a deep breath and bring your focus back to the present moment. Engage fully with what you're doing, whether it's washing dishes, having a conversation, or walking outside. This simple practice can dissolve the illusion of self, even for a moment. Take it a step further. Set a timer for 5 minutes and simply focus on your breath. Notice how thoughts arise and fade away. Each time your mind drifts, gently bring it back to the breath. This is mindfulness in action. You are not the voice in your head. Here's a revolutionary idea. You are not the thinker of your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. When you realize this, you become free from the incessant chatter of the mind. As Eckhart Tolle said, the moment you realize you are not the thinker, you step out of the mind's endless drama. You regain the awareness of being. Take a moment to reflect. If you're not the voice in your head, who are you really? Alan Watts elaborated on this beautifully. You're not a stranger here. This is your world. When you stop identifying with the ego, you start to see yourself as an integral part of the universe, not separate from it. This is where true peace begins. Action item 3. Observe your thoughts. Spend 5 minutes a day simply observing your thoughts without judgment. Imagine you're watching clouds pass in the sky. You'll quickly see that thoughts come and go, but the awareness observing them remains constant. That awareness is your true self. Go further. Create a thought journal where you write down recurring thoughts throughout the day. At the end of the day, review them. Are they empowering or limiting? Understanding your thought patterns is the first step toward breaking free from them. Action item 4. Practice gratitude. Here's another exercise. Start each day by listing 3 things you're grateful for. When you focus on gratitude, you shift your attention away from the ego's endless desires and complaints. Gratitude grounds you in the present moment and reminds you of the abundance that already exists. Take this further. For each thing you're grateful for, write why it matters to you. This deepens the practice and helps you connect with the feelings of appreciation on a more profound level. The freedom beyond the ego. The beauty of seeing through the illusion of the self is the freedom it brings. When you're no longer bound by the ego, you're no longer afraid of failure or rejection. You're no longer driven by comparison or scarcity. Instead, you tap into a wellspring of creativity, love, and purpose. Alan Watts described it as waking up from a dream. The dream is the belief that you are a separate self. The awakening is the realization that you're an expression of the universe itself, just like a wave is an expression of the ocean. Action item number 5. Connect with nature. Take time to immerse yourself in nature. Go for a walk in the park, sit by the ocean, or simply observe the trees swaying in the wind. Nature has no ego. It exists in harmony with itself, and by spending time in it, you can reconnect with your own essence. Try this. As you spend time in nature, take a few moments to observe without labeling. Look at a tree without calling it a tree. See it as a living expression of the same life force within you. This simple practice can be profoundly transformative. Living as the infinite, I want you to carry this thought with you. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop. When you stop identifying with the ego, you begin to live as the infinite being that you are. You're no longer bound by fear or limitation. Instead, you radiate love, joy, and purpose. Rumi captured this perfectly. Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you. And do not worry that your life is turning upside down. How do you know that the side you are used to is better than the one to come? This is a call to embrace the unknown, to let go of ego-driven resistance, and to trust the flow of life. Oprah Winfrey, a beacon of empowerment, has said, "The only courage you ever need is the courage to live the life you want." This courage comes from seeing through the illusion of the ego and stepping into your authentic power. Action item number 6. Share your insights. Find a way to share what you've learned today. Maybe you journal your thoughts, discuss these ideas with a friend, or post about it on social media. When you share, you deepen your understanding and inspire others to explore their own truths. Challenge yourself. Write a letter to your future self about the insights you've gained. Describe how you envision living without the constraints of the ego. Revisit this letter in 6 months and reflect on your growth. Final action item: embrace the unknown. Take one step today that scares you. Maybe it's starting a conversation, pursuing a dream, or letting go of something that no longer serves you. When you stop clinging to the illusion of control, you open yourself to endless possibilities. Expand on this. Create a fear list. Write down things you've been avoiding because of fear. Commit to facing one fear each week. By doing so, you'll start to see that fear loses its power when confronted. Now let me ask you, have you learned something new today? Has something I've shared resonated with you? If it has, don't keep this transformation to yourself. Subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, and like this video. Not only does it help us grow and reach more people, but it ensures you don't miss out on future insights that can change your life. And here's the best part. This channel is about you. If there's a topic you're curious about or something you think could make this world a better place, let us know in the comments. Together, we can spark a wave of transformation. You have the power to break free from the illusion of self and step into the infinite being that you are. The journey begins now. Thank you for joining me today. Let's keep growing, learning, and creating a better world, one action at a time.